The transport ship landed on Nexus Prime with a loud metal sound. Smoke came out from its engines as the doors opened slowly. Commander Kethvos stood near the processing area with his arms crossed. He was a tall creature with blue skin and 4 eyes. Each eye could look in a different direction. This helped him watch many prisoners at the same time. The Galactic Arena was his home. He had worked here for 30 cycles. He had seen thousands of fighters come through these doors. Most of them died on the sand within their first week. Some lasted longer. A few became champions, but all of them feared him. All of them respected the arena. Today's transport came from the outer systems. Kethvos looked at his data pad. There were 12 new prisoners. 11 of them were common criminals from known worlds, but the 12th one was different. The 12th one came from a planet called Earth. Kethvos had heard about Earth. The Galactic Council had made first contact with this world only 2 years ago. The reports said the humans were weak. They had no claws. They had no poison. They had no hard shell to protect their bodies. They could not see in the dark. They could not hear very well. They were slow compared to most species. The reports called them unremarkable. The prisoners walked out of the transport in a single line. Heavy chains connected their hands and feet. Guards with electric spears stood on both sides. Kethvos watched each prisoner carefully. He could tell a lot about a fighter just by watching them walk. The Gorvian was strong but stupid. He would last maybe 10 fights. The 2 Emnari brothers were clever but too thin. They would break easily. The Vrixal female had good instincts but too much fear in her eyes. Fear killed faster than any weapon. Then he saw the human. She was small, very small. The top of her head barely reached the shoulder of the Gorvian in front of her. Her skin was a light brown color, soft and smooth with no protection at all. Her hair was black and cut short. Her eyes were dark and calm. Too calm. Kethvos felt something strange when he looked at her. He could not explain it. She walked with the same chains as everyone else. She wore the same gray prisoner clothes, but something about her was different. "What is that little thing?" one of his guards asked. The guard was laughing. Did someone bring their pet by mistake? The other guards started laughing too. Even some of the prisoners looked at the human with confusion. What was such a small and weak creature doing here? Kethvos learned from his data pad that her name was Maya Chen. She was something called a sergeant in her planet's military. She had been captured during a failed diplomatic mission. The details were not clear. Something about a misunderstanding. Something about violence. The report said she had killed 3 Torvian soldiers before they could stop her. Kethvos found this hard to believe. Torvians were twice her size. They had thick skin and powerful arms. How could this tiny human kill 3 of them? He decided it must be a mistake in the report. The prisoners were taken to the processing room. Here they would be scanned, marked, and given their cell assignments. Kethvos followed them inside. He wanted to see the human up close. Maya Chen stood quietly while the machine scanned her body. She did not fight. She did not cry. She did not ask questions. She simply stood there and watched everything around her. Kethvos noticed that her eyes moved constantly. She looked at the guards. She counted them. She looked at their weapons. She studied them. She looked at the doors. She measured the distances. She looked at the ceiling. She found the cameras. This one is observing, Kethvos thought. This one is learning. "Human," he said, walking toward her. "Do you know where you are?" Maya Chen looked up at him. Her face showed no fear. "I know," she said. Her voice was quiet but steady. "This is the arena. Prisoners fight here. Most of them die. The winners get freedom. The losers get graves." Kethvos was surprised that she knew so much. "Your people have only been in the galaxy for 2 years. How do you know about the arena?" "I listen," Maya said. "I watch, I learn." "Then you know you will die here," Kethvos said. "Look at yourself. You are small, you are soft, you have nothing. The arena will eat you alive." Maya did not answer. She just looked at him with those dark, calm eyes. Kethvos felt that strange feeling again. Something was wrong here, something he could not understand, but he pushed the feeling away. He had seen too many prisoners to be worried about one small human. "Put her in the fodder tier," he told his guards. "She fights tomorrow." The fodder tier was for the weakest prisoners. They were sent into the arena first to warm up the crowd. They usually died within seconds. Their deaths were fast and forgotten. "Who is her opponent?" one guard asked. "Give her to Raxthal," Kethvos said. The guards looked at each other with surprise. Raxthal was a Vrixal champion. He was 8 feet tall with blades on his arms that could cut through metal. He had killed 43 opponents. No one in the fodder tier had ever survived more than 10 seconds against him. "Commander," the guard said carefully, "that seems extreme. She is just a human." "Exactly," Kethvos said. "The crowd wants to see what humans can do. Let them see. It will be quick." As the guards took Maya Chen away, Kethvos watched her go. She walked with her head up. She did not look scared. She did not look sad. She looked like she was thinking. For a moment, Kethvos wondered if he was making a mistake, but then he laughed at himself. She was just a human. Small, soft, weak. Tomorrow, Raxthal would tear her apart in front of 50,000 screaming fans. Her death would be just another show. He was sure of it. That night, Maya Chen sat alone in her cell. The walls were cold stone. The bed was hard metal. A small window showed the 3 moons of Nexus Prime. She did not sleep. Instead, she sat in the darkness and thought about everything she had seen. She remembered the guard positions. She remembered the weapon types. She remembered the door codes she had watched the guards enter. She thought about tomorrow. She thought about the arena. She thought about the creature called Raxthal. And slowly, quietly, she began to plan. The arena was loud. 50,000 aliens filled the seats. They screamed and shouted in 100 different languages. The sound was so strong that Maya could feel it in her chest. It was like standing inside a thunderstorm. She stood in the dark tunnel that led to the fighting ground. 2 guards stood behind her with electric spears. They were laughing and making jokes about how fast she would die. 20 seconds, one guard said. "I bet 20 seconds. "Too long," the other guard said. "Raxthal is hungry today. 10 seconds, maybe less." Maya did not respond to them. She was looking at the arena through the tunnel opening. The fighting ground was a large circle of sand. Bright lights shone down from above. Giant screens showed close-up images of the crowd. Everyone was excited. Everyone wanted blood. A voice spoke through the speakers. It was loud and dramatic. The announcer was introducing the next fight. "Ladies and gentlemen and creatures of all kinds, welcome to the main event of the morning. In the red corner, we have a new challenger. She comes from a tiny planet called Earth. She is the first human to ever fight in our arena. Please welcome the human." The crowd laughed. Some of them booed. Others made sounds of confusion. A human? What was that? Why was such a small thing in the arena? The guards pushed Maya forward. She walked out of the tunnel and into the light. The sand was soft under her feet. The heat from the lights was strong on her skin. She looked around at the crowd. Thousands of alien faces stared back at her. Most of them looked amused. Some looked bored. None of them looked worried for her. Good, Maya thought. Let them underestimate me. And in the blue corner, the announcer continued, our undefeated champion of the fodder tier. He has killed 43 opponents without losing a single match. He is fast. He is deadly. He is Raxthal the Blade. The crowd exploded with cheers. A gate on the other side of the arena opened. Raxthal walked out slowly. He wanted everyone to see him. Maya studied him carefully. He was even bigger than she expected, 8 feet tall at least. His body was covered in hard black shell, like armor made of bone. His arms ended in long curved blades instead of hands. The blades looked sharp enough to cut through stone. His head was insect-like with many small eyes and sharp teeth. He saw Maya and stopped walking. For a moment, he just stared at her. Then he made a sound. It took Maya a second to realize he was laughing. "This is my opponent," Raxthal said. His voice was deep and rough. "This little soft thing, is this a joke?" The crowd laughed with him. Up in the VIP section, Commander Kethvos watched with his 4 eyes. He was drinking something blue from a tall glass. He looked relaxed. He expected this to be over quickly. A guard came to Maya and gave her a weapon. It was a short sword, old and dull. The edge was barely sharp. It was the worst weapon in the arena's collection. They gave it to her as an insult. Maya took it without complaint. She tested its weight. She moved it through the air a few times. Then she waited. "Fight," the announcer shouted. Raxthal charged. He was fast for his size. His feet kicked up sand as he ran. His arm blades were raised high, ready to cut Maya in half with one swing. The crowd leaned forward. The moment of death was coming. Some people were already looking away. They did not want to see the mess. But the mess did not happen. At the last possible moment, Maya moved. She did not try to block the blade. She did not try to run away. Instead, she stepped to the side at an angle that seemed impossible. Raxthal's blade cut through empty air where her body had been a moment before. The crowd went quiet for a second. What had just happened? Raxthal was confused too. He turned and swung again. Maya ducked under the blade. She was already moving before he finished his swing. Her body stayed low to the ground. She was fast, much faster than anyone expected. She struck. Her dull sword hit the back of Raxthal's knee, exactly where 2 pieces of his shell met. It was a tiny gap, easy to miss, but Maya had seen it. She had studied his body the moment he walked out. She had found his weak points. Raxthal screamed. It was not a killing blow, but it hurt. He had never been hurt in the arena before. "Lucky hit," he shouted. He swung his blades in wide circles, trying to catch her, but Maya was not where he expected. She kept moving, always at strange angles, always just out of reach. The crowd was silent now. This was not what they came to see. This was not a quick death. This was something else. Up in the VIP section, Kethvos put down his drink. His 4 eyes were all focused on the arena. He leaned forward in his seat. Maya continued her dance. She never tried to match Raxthal's strength. That would be stupid. He was much stronger than her. Instead, she used his strength against him. When he charged, she moved. When he swung, she dodged. Every time he missed, he got a little more tired. Every time she moved, she learned a little more about him. She hit him again, a strike to his other knee, then a strike to his elbow, then a strike to the soft place under his arm where his shell did not cover. Each hit was small. Each hit was painful. Each hit made him slower. 3 minutes passed. Raxthal was breathing hard. His movements were getting clumsy. He had never fought this long before. He did not have the energy for it. Maya was barely tired at all. "What are you?" Raxthal demanded. "What kind of creature are you?" Maya did not answer. She was done talking. She was done playing. It was time to end this. She waited for Raxthal to swing one more time. His blade came down hard. Maya stepped inside his reach, too close for his long arms to work properly. Before he could react, she jumped. She grabbed onto his shell and climbed up his body like he was a tree. Raxthal tried to shake her off. He spun around. He hit himself with his own blades trying to reach her, but she was too fast. She climbed up to his shoulders. She found the place where his head connected to his body. She saw the nerve cluster there, barely protected. She struck with her dull sword. She struck 3 times, fast and hard. Raxthal stopped moving. His eyes went blank. His body fell forward and hit the sand with a heavy sound. He was not dead, but he could not move. He could not fight. Maya jumped off and landed on her feet. She stood over the fallen champion and looked up at the crowd. 50,000 aliens stared back at her in complete silence. Then slowly someone started clapping, then another, then another. The clapping turned into cheering. The cheering turned into roaring. The crowd went crazy. They had never seen anything like this. Up in the VIP section, Commander Kethvos sat very still. His drink was forgotten. His 4 eyes were wide. He was not laughing anymore. 3 weeks passed after Maya's first victory. In that time, she became the most famous fighter in the arena's history. Everyone wanted to see the human. Everyone wanted to understand how such a small and weak creature could keep winning. The arena's owners were happy. Ticket sales went up every day. People came from distant star systems just to watch her fight. The betting houses made more money than ever before. Maya Chen was good for business. She fought twice more in the first week. Her second opponent was a Mnari named Visk. The Mnari were telepaths. They could read minds and see what their opponents would do before they did it. No one had ever beaten a Mnari by fighting them directly. Maya did not fight Visk directly. When the match started, Visk reached out with his mind to read her thoughts. He expected to find plans and strategies. He expected to know her every move. Instead, he found something strange. Maya was thinking about music, old songs from Earth. She was singing them inside her head, one after another, loud and fast and confusing. Visk could not make sense of it. The songs were chaos. They had no pattern he could follow. Every time he tried to focus, a new song started. His telepathic powers became useless. While Visk struggled to understand her mind, Maya attacked his body. She was fast and precise. She knew exactly where to hit. Within 2 minutes, Visk was on the ground, defeated. After the match, scientists came to study the recordings. They were amazed by what they found. Humans, they learned, could think about multiple things at the same time. They could split their minds in ways that other species could not. This made telepathy almost useless against them. Maya's third opponent was much bigger. His name was Goroth, and he was a Gorvian rock giant. Gorvians were some of the strongest creatures in the galaxy. Their bodies were made of living stone. They could take incredible damage and keep fighting. No weapon could cut them. No blow could break them. The fight looked impossible for Maya. Goroth was slow, but he was almost invincible. Every time Maya hit him, it was like hitting a mountain. Her sword broke against his skin. Her kicks and punches did nothing. But Maya did not try to hurt him. Instead, she ran. She made him chase her around the arena. She moved fast, always staying just out of reach. Goroth followed her, getting more and more frustrated. The crowd booed at first. They wanted action, they wanted violence, but then they noticed something. Goroth was getting tired. Gorvians were strong, but their bodies were heavy. Moving took a lot of energy. Their slow metabolism could not keep up with long activity. After 30 minutes of chasing Maya, Goroth was stumbling. After 45 minutes, he could barely stand. After 1 hour, he fell down and could not get up. Maya won without landing a single blow. The scientists studied this too. They learned something frightening about humans. On Earth, humans had hunted animals by chasing them, not by being faster but by lasting longer. Humans could keep moving for hours, days even. They did not stop. They did not give up. They wore their prey down until it could no longer run. This was called persistence hunting, and it was terrifying. Commander Kethvos read all the reports about Maya. He learned about human endurance. He learned about their ability to heal quickly from injuries. He learned about their adaptable diet, how they could eat almost anything. He learned about their brains, how they could solve problems and create tools and work together in groups. The more he learned, the more worried he became. "She is learning too," one of his officers told him. "Every fight she gets better. She studies her opponents. She finds their weaknesses. She never makes the same mistake twice." Kethvos knew this was true. He had watched the recordings. Maya was not just fighting to survive. She was collecting information. Every battle taught her something new about alien biology. Every victory gave her more confidence. And she was doing something else too, something that worried Kethvos even more. She was making friends. In the prisoner cells, Maya spent her time between fights talking to other prisoners. She learned their languages quickly. Humans, it turned out, were very good with languages. Their brains could adapt to new sounds and patterns easily. She talked to a Torvian named Krell who had been a soldier. She talked to two Emnari sisters who had been thieves. She talked to an old Vrixal engineer who knew how the arena's systems worked. She asked them questions about their homes, their lives, their hopes. She also asked them questions about the arena. How did the power systems work? Where were the weapon storages? How many guards were on duty at night? What were the security codes? She is planning something, Kethvos told the arena's owners. She is not just a fighter, she is a soldier. She is thinking like a soldier. The owners laughed at him. She is one small human, they said. What can she possibly do? She is making us rich. Let her fight. Let her win. Let the people enjoy the show. Kethvos wanted to argue, but he had no proof. Maya had not broken any rules. She had not tried to escape. She was a perfect prisoner. That was exactly what worried him. One night, Kethvos went to Maya's cell. He stood outside the bars and looked at her. She was sitting on her bed, calm and quiet like always. "I know what you are doing," he said. Maya looked at him. "I am doing nothing. I am a prisoner. I fight when you tell me to fight. I wait when you tell me to wait. You are making alliances. You are gathering information. You are preparing for something." Maya smiled. It was a small smile, but it made Kethvos feel cold inside. "On Earth," she said, "we have a saying, hope for the best, prepare for the worst." She paused. "I am just preparing, Commander, that is all." Kethvos stared at her for a long time. He wanted to kill her right there. He wanted to end whatever she was planning before it started. But he could not. She was too valuable. She made too much money for the arena. So he did nothing. He walked away from her cell. He told himself he was being paranoid. She was just one human, one small, soft, weak human. What could she possibly do against an entire arena full of guards and weapons and security systems? But deep inside, a small voice whispered to him. It told him that he was making a mistake. It told him that this human was more dangerous than any champion the arena had ever seen. He should have listened to that voice. Back in her cell, Maya waited until his footsteps faded away. Then she reached under her mattress and pulled out a small piece of metal. She had stolen it during her last fight. She had hidden it carefully. It was the key to everything. She smiled again in the darkness. The plan was almost ready. Soon, very soon, the arena would learn what humans could really do when they worked together. And by then, it would be too late to stop them. The night was dark and quiet when everything changed. Most of the arena staff had gone home. Only the night guards remained, walking their routes and watching their screens. They were bored. Nothing ever happened at night. Maya sat in her cell and counted the seconds. She had spent weeks preparing for this moment. Every detail was planned. Every risk was calculated. She knew the guards' schedules by heart. She knew which cameras had blind spots. She knew which doors had weak locks. The piece of metal she had stolen was actually a power regulator from the arena's lighting system. The old Vrixal engineer, whose name was Torven, had told her exactly what to do with it. Torven had worked on the arena's construction 50 years ago. He knew every wire and every circuit. At exactly midnight, Maya used the metal piece to short-circuit the power box in her cell wall. The electricity made a small spark. Then all the lights in the prisoner section went dark. For 3 seconds, nothing happened. The backup generators needed 3 seconds to activate. Maya had planned for those 3 seconds. In the darkness, she moved. She pushed open her cell door. The electronic lock had released when the power died. She ran down the corridor, silent and fast. She had memorized the path. She did not need light. She reached Torven's cell first. The old engineer was waiting at his door. "Did it work?" he whispered. "The backup power is coming," Maya said. We have maybe 2 minutes before they realize what happened. Let us move." They ran together through the dark corridors. Maya opened other cells as they passed. Krell, the Torvian soldier, joined them. The Imnari sisters, Vesa and Nira, followed close behind. More prisoners came out of their cells, confused but hopeful. "Stay quiet," Maya told them. "Follow me. Do exactly what I say." They moved through the prison like ghosts. Maya led them through maintenance tunnels that Torvin had told her about. These tunnels were never guarded. No one thought prisoners could find them. By the time the backup power came on, Maya and her group were already past the main security area. The alarms started ringing. Red lights flashed everywhere. Guards shouted into their communicators, but they were looking in the wrong places. "How does she know where to go?" Krell asked Torvin. "She asked questions," Torvin replied. Every day she asked more questions about the arena, about the systems, about everything. I thought she was just curious, but she was building a map in her head. In the security center, Commander Kethvos watched his screens with growing horror. Camera after camera showed empty corridors. The prisoners were gone, all of them. Almost 100 fighters had disappeared from their cells. "Find them," he shouted at his guards. "Search everywhere." But his guards were already running into problems. Someone had moved the weapons from the main storage room. The electric spears were missing. The stun grenades were gone. Even the security doors were not responding correctly. "Sir," one of his officers said, his voice shaking, "she did not just escape. She sabotaged our systems. She has been planning this for weeks, maybe longer." Kethvos felt cold fear in his stomach. He had warned the owners. He had told them Maya was dangerous. They had not listened. Now it was too late. Maya led her army through the arena's lower levels. They picked up weapons from a hidden spot where Torvin had helped her store them earlier. Nothing fancy. Clubs and pipes and pieces of metal. But in the hands of fighters who had killed in the arena, these simple weapons became deadly. They met their first group of guards near the food storage area. There were 6 guards with electric spears. They saw the prisoners and raised their weapons. "Stop," the lead guard shouted. "Return to your cells immediately or we will." He never finished his sentence. Maya had trained her people well. The Imnari sisters moved first, using their telepathic powers to confuse the guards. In that moment of confusion, Krell and 2 other Torvians charged. They hit the guards hard and fast. Within seconds, all 6 guards were on the ground. "Take their weapons," Maya ordered. "And their communicators. We need to hear what they are saying." The group continued moving. They fought 3 more groups of guards. Each time, Maya's tactics worked perfectly. She used the big fighters to attack from the front. She used the fast fighters to attack from the sides. She used the telepaths to create confusion. Every prisoner had a role. Every prisoner knew their job. This was not a random escape. This was military strategy. News of the uprising spread through the arena. Guards started to panic. These were not normal prisoners. These were trained fighters who worked together like an army. Many guards ran away. Others tried to surrender. Kethvos locked himself in the main security center. He sealed the heavy doors and activated the emergency shields. He was safe here. The prisoners could not break through. He would wait for reinforcement from the city. He watched on the screens as Maya's army took control of the arena. They captured the remaining guards. They opened all the doors. They found the other prisoners who had not been part of the original plan and freed them too. In less than 2 hours, the entire arena was under prisoner control. Then Maya's face appeared on his screen. She had found a camera and was looking directly at it. "Commander Kethvos," she said, "I know you are watching. I know you are hiding in your little room. You think you are safe there." Kethvos did not respond. He just watched, his 4 eyes wide with fear. "Let me tell you something about humans," Maya continued. "We do not give up. We do not stop. When we want something, we find a way to get it. Always. You put me in a cage. You made me fight for your entertainment. You laughed at me because I was small and soft." She paused. "You should have killed me when you had the chance." The screen went dark. For a moment, Kethvos relaxed. She was just trying to scare him. She could not reach him here. The security center was the most protected room in the arena. The walls were thick. The doors were strong. No one could. He heard a sound behind him, a grinding noise, metal against metal. He turned around slowly. The ventilation grate in the ceiling was opening. A face appeared in the dark opening. It was one of the Emnari sisters. She smiled at him with too many teeth. "Hello, Commander," she said. "The human sends her greetings." Kethvos tried to run for the door, but more figures were already dropping from the ceiling. They grabbed him before he could take 3 steps. They pulled him down. They took his weapons. A few minutes later, Maya walked through the main door. The prisoners had opened it from inside. She stood in front of Kethvos, who was now tied to a chair. "You thought I only planned one way in," she said. "That is the difference between your people and mine. We always have a backup plan. We always think 3 steps ahead." Kethvos looked at her with something like respect and something like terror. "What do you want?" he asked. Maya pointed to the communication console behind him. It controlled the arena's broadcast system. It could send messages across the entire galaxy. "I want to talk to everyone," she said, "and you are going to help me." Commander Kethvos had no choice. Maya stood over him with a captured electric spear. Around her stood 100 former prisoners, all watching and waiting. They had taken everything from him: his weapons, his guards, his power. All he had left was his knowledge of the communication systems. "Open the broadcast channel," Maya said. Her voice was calm but firm. "Connect to the galactic network. I want everyone to hear what I have to say." "If I do this," Kethvos said, "they will destroy you. The Council will send warships. The arena has powerful friends. You cannot win against the whole galaxy." Maya smiled. It was not a happy smile. "Open the channel, Commander. Let me worry about the galaxy." Kethvos entered his codes. The screens around them lit up. The broadcast system came to life. A small red light indicated that the message was going out, not just to Nexus Prime, not just to nearby systems. This signal was traveling across the entire galactic network. Billions of beings would see this. Maya stepped in front of the main camera. She straightened her torn prisoner clothes. She brushed the dust from her face. Then she began to speak. "My name is Sergeant Maya Chen. I am a human from the planet Earth. 2 years ago, my species made first contact with the galactic community. We thought we were joining a civilization of peace and progress. We were wrong." She paused to let her words sink in. "I was captured during a diplomatic mission, a mission of peace. I was brought to this place, the galactic arena on Nexus Prime. Here, prisoners are forced to fight for entertainment. Here, living beings kill each other while crowds cheer. Here, slavery is legal and murder is a sport." Behind her, Torvin worked on another console. He was pulling up files, records, video footage, everything the arena had tried to hide. "The galaxy calls this justice," Maya continued. "But I have seen the truth. Most prisoners here are not criminals. They are debtors who could not pay. They are refugees from poor worlds. They are people who spoke against powerful governments. They are the weak and the forgotten, sent here to die for the amusement of the rich." The screens around the room began showing footage. Fights that ended in death, prisoners being tortured, guards laughing as fighters bled on the sand. It was ugly and brutal and true. "I am showing you this because you deserve to know. Somewhere in the galaxy there is someone you love, a brother, a sister, a friend. They disappeared one day and you never knew what happened to them. Maybe they are here. Maybe they died on this sand." Maya held up a data chip. "I have the complete records of the galactic arena, every fight, every death, every payment made by every corrupt official who sold people to this place. I have the names of politicians who take bribes to keep the arena running. I have the names of business owners who bet on human suffering. She looked directly into the camera. I am sending these records to every news organization in the galaxy. I am sending them to every court. I am sending them to every government. The truth cannot be hidden anymore. Behind her, Kethvos watched in horror. The arena's secrets were being revealed to everyone. The owners would be ruined. The politicians would be exposed. Everything the arena had built over centuries was falling apart in minutes. But I have one more message, Maya said. This one is for the people of Earth. Her voice changed. It became stronger, harder. I know you are out there. I know you have been watching the galaxy, wondering where I went, wondering if I was still alive. I am alive, and I am not alone. There are humans in this galaxy who need help, traders who were cheated, explorers who were captured, diplomats who were betrayed. She stepped closer to the camera. Come and get us. Earth knows what happened to me. Earth knows what the galaxy has done to its children, and Earth is coming. The red light on the camera blinked off. The broadcast was complete. Across the galaxy, billions of beings had heard her message. Billions more would see the recordings. Maya let out a long breath. It was done. What happens now? Krell asked. The big Torvian stood nearby, still holding a captured weapon. Now we wait, Maya said, and we prepare. They did not have to wait long. 2 hours later, sensors detected ships entering the system. Kethvos, still tied to his chair, watched the screens with disbelief. There were not just a few ships. There were dozens, then hundreds. It is the Council fleet, one prisoner said, fear in his voice. They are coming to kill us. But Maya shook her head. She was looking at the ship markings. A small smile appeared on her face. Those are not Council ships, she said. The largest vessel in the fleet was broadcasting a signal. It came through the arena's speakers, loud and clear. Galactic Arena, this is Admiral James Webb of the United Nations Space Command. We have received your transmission. We are here to collect our people. Maya closed her eyes for a moment. Relief washed over her face. Then she opened her eyes and walked to the communication console. Admiral Webb, this is Sergeant Maya Chen. It is good to hear your voice. Sergeant Chen, it is good to hear yours. We have been looking for you for a long time. Are you safe? Safe enough, sir. The arena is under our control. We have prisoners from many worlds here. They need help. We are ready to provide it. And Sergeant, the whole galaxy saw your broadcast. You have started something big. The Council is in chaos. Governments are falling. People are demanding justice. Maya looked around the room. At Torven, who had risked his life to help her. At Krell, who had fought beside her. At the Imnari sisters, who had trusted her plan. At all the prisoners who had followed a small, soft, weak human into battle. We did not start this, Admiral, she said, but we are going to finish it. In the hours that followed, Earth ships landed at the arena. Soldiers in unfamiliar armor secured the building. Medical teams treated the wounded. Social workers began the long process of identifying prisoners and finding their homes. Commander Kethvos was taken into custody. He would face trial for his crimes. Many others would join him. The records Maya had released would change the galaxy forever. As the sun rose over Nexus Prime, Maya stood on the arena's main balcony. She looked out at the city below. Somewhere out there, people were waking up to a new reality. The arena was finished. Its power was broken. Admiral Webb joined her on the balcony. He was an older man with gray hair and kind eyes. You did something remarkable here, Sergeant, he said. I just survived, Maya replied. That is what humans do. It is more than that. The galaxy underestimated us. They saw our small bodies and soft skin. They thought we were weak. They did not understand what really makes us strong. Maya nodded slowly. They will learn. Yes, Admiral Webb agreed. They will. Far below, the former prisoners of the arena were walking out into the light. They were free. Many of them were crying. Some were laughing. All of them were looking at the human ships in the sky with wonder. They would tell stories about this day. Stories about a small human woman who refused to give up, who turned a prison into a rebellion, who faced a galaxy of enemies and found a way to win. The aliens had laughed when Maya Chen entered the arena. They had called her weak. They had called her soft. They had called her nothing. They were not laughing anymore. And the galaxy would never underestimate humanity again.